Hi, I'm Cindy Wilson, and this is Home Sweet Home Craft Room Creations. Welcome to the craft room. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. If you've been here before, you know the routine. I'm going to make something, you're going to make something, we're all going to have a good time. In this video, we're going to do several pieces of Farmhouse DIY Easter spring related. And if this is something that interests you, stick around, get comfortable. It's going to be a long video, I will warn you that much. And let's do this. The first video is taking a piece of pine 1x6 board. That's all this was. Something I found in my little scrap pile that I decided to chop off a piece. Went online and I found these Easter rabbit images. Well, they're rabbit images. I decided they were Easter rabbits or spring rabbits, whichever you want is fine. And it's just a matter of printing it out. Because the piece was longer than 11 inches tall, I did have to slice it in half and print it twice and then tape it together to make the pattern complete. But after that, it's pretty much straightforward. You take your pattern, trace it onto a board, cut out that pattern, and you end up with a wooden rabbit. My pattern was just a little bit wider than the board was. I wasn't actually paying a whole lot of attention about how wide it was. Oops, bad on me. So when I cut it out, I ended up rounding out the ears and the nose just a little bit more, and that way he fit on there perfectly. I didn't want to make him any narrower, because the game plan here is that once he is cut out, he will freestand on his own. He's basically a shelf sitter, and he needs to stand on his own. You could probably put another piece of board in behind him to kind of give him like a T-square effect on the back to help him stand up. But I found that wasn't necessary with mine once he was cut out, and I made sure that I did use the chop saw to cut straight across the bottom so there was no wavy line interference that would make him wobble and fall over. Once I had both bunnies cut out, sanded really well so there was no rough edges on it, all I did was take some acrylic white paint. The purpose of the acrylic this time is it's going to have a whitewash effect rather than a solid white. If I was going to do a solid white, I would have used the chalk paint. But since I wanted whitewash, the acrylic worked just fine for that purpose. Just a few drops of water into the white paint, thinned it out just enough to kind of give it that whitewash consistency that I wanted. If the wooden knots showed through, I did not panic. This was something that I was fully prepared to happen, and so I let it happen. And that's okay with me. If it's not something that you want, you might want to use the chalk paint to completely cover in all those marks. For the second bunny, or the first one, whichever way you want to look at it, I decided to use a gel stain. This one is mahogany, red mahogany, I believe it was called. I'll have to look at it. I will put it in the description down below. I'm not sure what it was exactly, but it is mahogany. And I do have a stair rail going to the second floor of the house that has been stained in this color, and I really love it. When the sunlight hits it a certain way, it's kind of got a reddish tinge to it, and I really, really love the look of it. And so I decided I'm going to have one rabbit that color at least, for sure, probably more. And basically just used a paper towel to put the stain on quite liberally, and getting into all the nooks and crannies to make sure it's completely covered, and let it sit for a few seconds. And once I was done with that, I just took another paper towel and wiped off the excess. Once that was done and they sat off to the side drying and curing, whichever way you want to look at it, I decided we needed some embellishments. And the easiest thing I could think of that kind of screamed country for me was to make some beaded carrot. Okay, so I've got these dried beads, which, by the way, was done also in the whitewash technique with the orange/peach paint, heavily diluted. I forgot to tell you that earlier. And I could not, for the life of me, find jute cord in the craft room. I've been moving things around. There's been some remodeling and redecorating going on upstairs, and somewhere along the line the jute cord has kind of hidden itself temporarily. I will find it though. So what I have is something called suede cord. I found this on Amazon. I will leave a link down to it in the description box below. And I thought, well, you know what? I think this kind of ups the game a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit off country. I don't know if suede is country or not, but for me it was. So all I did was take a piece about 18 inches long and strung the carrots up on it. Each carrot was made with 4 orange beads, starting from roughly 1/8 of an inch going up to maybe 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch, in that caliber. And the top of the carrot, instead of some greenery, I painted a wooden heart, green, and that's going to be the top of the carrot on the other side of the cord, just to kind of give it a little bit of balance between the two sides, because both sides of the cords will be dangling down in front of the rabbit. I just strung up some extra beads to kind of offset the weight look kind of thing, if that makes sense to anybody. And this is how it comes out. Once the rabbits were dried, I gave them a light sanding with 400 grit sandpaper, just to give them a little bit smoother feel and a more finished feeling. And then they were ready for their carrot necklaces. I secured the beads on the suede. I called it leather earlier on. It is not leather cord, it is suede cord from Amazon. Anyway, a little hot glue secured the carrots onto the cord, just to make sure things were lying properly and holding on properly and maintaining the shape of a carrot. And then the necklaces were added to the rabbits. Our next 2 Easter/spring decor pieces are actually sewn pieces, and for the life of me, somewhere along the line, I've misplaced the video where the actual cutting of the rabbits is done. So I'm just going to give you a quick run through here. I found canvas online, very reasonably priced. I will add that down in the description below. And I found for most of these pieces that I was doing, the canvas was an amazing option to use. Then came the the printed bunny offline that I found just by Googling silhouette rabbit kind of thing. That came up. I did multiples. What we're going to have here is a smaller catnip laced toy for my cats, a little bit larger piece with little plastic squeakies inside of it, also that came from Amazon, and those are for the dogs. and then the larger one, the black one in the background, is a human shelf sitter with scented beads inside of it. And again, like I'm going to apologize here. Somewhere that file has gone missing. Also, I discovered something that it's an interfacing, which is heat activated iron-on, the most amazing stuff I've ever seen and I've ever used. It would be great for quilting appliques or applique, the way everyone you or whatever way you pronounce it. I used them actually to make pockets on the front of the rabbits where I could stuff little greeneries and things like that into the pouch. Here's the Heat and Bond Ultra Hold iron-on adhesive. Amazing stuff. I will do a video later on and show you how cool this stuff is and what you can do with it. This is definitely a game changer if you're going to do crafting with fabrics. It's something I would use again. It's something I highly recommend. And again, I will apologize for not being able to give you the video on the actual making of it. The other embellishments I will show you here are again found on Amazon. It is adhesive stripped lace. Amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing. Recommend it highly. I made little tags that will go on the back of a wooden disc that I placed around the neck of the stuffed rabbits to identify what the scent is inside. Again, the suede cord. Definitely recommending this stuff. I found so many great things this time around when I was creating these rabbits that I'm going to do more sewing projects, that for sure. The basics of this one, though, is find your fabric, take the pattern that you have printed out, put your pattern on top of your fabric. You can pin it down. I'm pretty lackadaisy about stuff like that. It was just basically put the pattern on there, trace or cut around it, I should say. Leave yourself 1/4 of an inch, seam allowance, and stuff your rabbit. When the rabbit is stuffed, after you're good to go and your embellishments, whether you're going to do the iron-on or whatever it is that you do, I added little pom-poms for the cat ones, kind of thing, to give them tails. I gave them a little bow tie for both the rabbits and the dogs, or for the cats and the dogs' toys. And this is what they turned out like. I'm so sorry again that I did not get a chance to show you the complete 100% on making the shelf-sitting scented rabbits. They're adorable. I love them. For the next Easter piece, I'm going to do a faux cloche, I guess you could call it, with dish from dollar store, a clear glass bowl from IKEA, and I believe this was a Dollarama candle holder. I'm sure that's where that one came from. And then this little, I'm going to say it's a drawer pull, one of the two anyway, but the screw piece is out of the end of it, but it's going to sit on the top of my dome. So I think what we'll do first is to get these two pieces together. And because it's going to be E6000 that holds everything together, it's going to have to sit overnight. So we're going to set that up tonight. Okay, so here we are the next day. Secure, everything is wonderful, hanging on perfect. This one as well, just perfect. All we have to do now is paint it. Change in plan. I'm no longer going to use the matte black on it. I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum Chalked Chiffon Cream Paint. I think I'd like this a whole lot better than the black right now. And I'm going to take it outside, so you won't be going with me for that one. Take it outside, get it painted, get it dried, and we'll carry on from there. See you in a bit. My cloche turned out so well, I couldn't help but turn around and make two more. Again, using saucers, clear glass bowls with finials, door pulls, whatever you want to call them, for tops on them. The bonus of this whole thing was I had wandered over to a secondhand shop not far from here later on that day, and I found the score of a lifetime. I have found an actual glass pedestal, real deal cloche that I'm absolutely in love with, and it only cost me $10. For the next project, I'm going to create a farmhouse style tier tray out of a bunch of random items that I've been picking up over the last little while. Some wooden beads, wooden plaques that I found at Michael's are going to actually build the tray for me or be part of the tray for me. Hope you like this. Okay, game plan is take A and B and make a tier tray out of it. I'm going to do a little white chalk paint on it, and the post in between the two pieces, I think we're going to go for an 8-inch section, and I'm going to say let's go about an inch into the square, and then oops, no, maybe the other way. How about that? Try that. Yeah, how about that? There, I think that's a bit better. I'll get a bit of a flat edge, straight piece this way on the top, and I'll put this piece down to the bottom, and we'll wedge them in between here. Probably end up screwing them in, I'm not sure. Probably a little bit of glue. We'll figure it out as I go, but right now I'm going to take it over to the saw, and I'm going to cut this section out, paint this and paint this, and then we'll put it all together. Okay, once I got the tray painted, both layers of it, top and bottom, and my little spindle that's going to connect the two pieces together, I kind of marked center by measuring it out on both pieces, so I knew so I would know where exactly to put my E6000, my hot glue, and then I'm going to tack it in with two finishing nails. We're going to do from the top to adhere to the top post, or the top half of the post, and I'm going to come in through the bottom to grab the bottom half of the post and hold that in place. The next couple of mini projects are going to be all the little items that I want to place in my tier tray once it is good to go. For the Easter bunnies here that I picked up for $2, these are absolutely adorable, but I'm not crazy about the colors of the word Easter on there. So I'm just going to take sage green paint and paint over top of them. Once they're dry, I'm going to actually write the word spring across the front of it in white chalk paint. There is something out, I'll stick them in the description. They are white chalk markers, actually, that I have, and I'm going to write the word spring on with that. For the little truck I'm going to do here, I'm really not crazy on how the wheel wells look on these trucks when they're pre-cut from whoever does these. I think it was Dollar Tree I found this one at. And so I just decided I'm going to just recreate the pickup truck myself with my own drawing and my own rendition of what I want the front of the truck to look at. Again, to keep in the color scheme that I want to do with the greens and the grays and the light pastel colors, I guess. I'm painting this one sage green. Let it off to dry. Found a little birdhouse at the dollar store. Like $2 for this one here. Again, just very simple, basic techniques to kind of make it all blend together and make it look like they belong together on the tray. I'm going to paint it a sage green on the roof kind of thing, white on the bottom. I also want some faux books for my little tier tray. So these ones here, the blocks of wood are 1x4 pieces of pine. And I cut them, I believe, 3.5 inches long. I grabbed some cardstock, some heavier cardstock that I had here. And that's what I'm going to use to wrap the outside of the books rather than painting them. I think I like that look better than paint. And all I did with that was paint the 3 sides of the block of wood where the pages would be kind of showing. And cut the paper down to size so it would wrap around the piece of wood. And that was about it. Take a little hot glue and adhere it to the front and back of the piece of wood. And there you go. You have a book. The next part of that one is to wrap the books. After I take Grow Where You Are Planted that I had printed off on vinyl or cut out on vinyl from my Cricut. And I'm going to put that on the edges of the book, and we'll apply that quickly. And once that is in place, I'm going to wrap them with jute cord to hold them all together. I chose not to go crossways on the lettering or on the books because I didn't want to cover up any of the lettering, so I wrapped it the length of the book, I guess is the best way to say it, just so that you could still read the titles on the book without an issue. And I'm going to take a little piece of floral pick with some daisies on it, and I'm going to tuck that into the jute cord. Actually, that I found the jute cord. There was a piece of it bundled into one of the baskets here, and I just happened to see it. So yes, I'm not jute cordless at this point here. I have a little bit to hold me over for the next couple of projects. Once the birdhouse was dry, I went rummaging through a little drawer that I have little odds and ends in, found this little butterfly, went, yes. I just wanted something really quick, easy, and simple on the front of the birdhouse. I could have added more to it, but I liked the easy, simple look of it. I didn't want to start cluttering it up with decals and stickers and different things. So no, I just figured for what I was doing, where it was going to be sitting on the tray, that this would work just fine. And another piece of easy decor for the tray is just to take this glass jar, I believe it was a candle holder, and filled it up with eggs and some greenery, and away it went. The beads green and ivory with a tassel. That was another piece for the tray. Really quick and easy projects that anybody can do. The next easy decor piece is taking these plastic speckled eggs from the Dollar Tree. Some of them I had here myself, just solid colors that I did my own version of speckling. It was kind of a mess, but it worked out okay. I'm not an official or not a professional speckler, I guess, so I just did what I could with it. I kind of lined them up towards the outer edge of the plastic vase. Actually, that's plastic. I have a glass one, but I decided to use the plastic one instead. So I kept the eggs, I can't talk anymore, towards the outside of the jar, grabbed some moss, tucked that in on the top of it, and grabbed a full daisy sprig and put that into the top of the container, and this one is done. I don't know if any of you have tried AI technology. For the next project, that's exactly what I did. If you go to Canva, you can use the AI software for free on a free membership. All you do is click on the Elements tab. It will take you to a screen that looks like this, and it says AI Image Generator, and click Generate Your Own. For this part, all I did was type in what I wanted. I put in the word, I believe, vintage. I'm just going to read it off the screen. Vintage Easter Bunny wearing a top hat and tuxedo. And then there's a little purple button down on the bottom that says Generate Image. When you're finished writing or typing in your description, you click Generate Image, and it will create what it interprets from what you've just typed in. This is amazing. A real game changer for creating your own artwork. And like I said, it's a free add-on to the Canva site and the Canva software. So if you haven't tried it, I recommend highly that you try this, because what comes out of this is absolutely adorable. Check this out. You could take these AI images that you create, and you could make, for example, say Easter cards, Easter postcards, throw them in the mail. Snail mail's great. I don't get much stuff like that anymore. And it's nice to receive something like this. I would think so anyway, or I would like to receive something like this. And for this one here, all I did was just a quick postcard of our Mr. Adorable Rabbit with his tuxedo and his hat, getting ready for Easter dinner. Like, he is amazing. And there are other images that I created with this as well too, of black and white images. I will show you those a little bit farther down the line. But back to this guy here. Make it that postcard. Make it a place setting name tag. If you're having multiple people over for dinner and you want to know, or you want them to know where to sit, take something like this, and where I've put the word Happy Easter on the side of the card, type in that person's name and print that out instead. You could use, the possibilities with this stuff is amazingly endless. If you have the imagination, let it run wild with this stuff, because this is totally an incredible piece of software to deal with. And yeah, I'm definitely impressed beyond belief. And here they are. The color one, the black and white ones that I did. The other two images were just, I believe, from PNG Tree, the two on the left-hand side. And again, just saved them into my art program and printed them on 4x6 pieces of, or sheets of photo paper. And they're adorable. There's just no other way to describe them other than adorable. I liked the black and white ones so much that what I did with it was I had a cutting board, and I looked at it trying to figure out how to put them on, and I picked this up at the dollar store. And then when I got it home, I went, oh my, this comes out, this little piece of slate. It's one of a kind on its own. It can go do something else. I don't need it for this. But it leaves an indentation, and in that indentation I recreated the bunny that you see on the right hand side there into a larger image, just on plain photo paper. This one is matte finish, and I just wanted a light hold to it because I love the idea of working with this cutting board that has an indentation to do all kinds of cool things in. So the bunny has only been temporarily attached in there with a glue stick just to kind of hold it in place. And this is him. I think he's adorable. The next piece of Easter spring decor is images that I had cut with my Cricut, on the 1/16th, I believe it is, craft board. And these little gift tags are going to be the focus of this project. I'm going to take them and paint them in chalk white paint, and what we'll do is give it kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A vintage Victorian striping kind of effect on them by taking some painter's tape and taping off the pieces that I want to remain white and just leaving exposed the pieces that I'm going to add my sage green paint to. Easter would not be complete without candy. I don't care if you're 5 years old or you're 55 years old. Easter means candy, pure and simple. There's just no two ways about that. So all I did with this one here is for two people that I know still love Easter, even though they're a little bit old for getting Easter baskets. I did a little something for them. And it was to take the candy, bigger bags of them. Well, not bigger, but big enough bags of bulk candy, and just added them into smaller bags. Took the candies, kind of gathered it down into the bottom corner of the bag, and created little mini bags. Took those little mini bags and did a slip knot in the suede cord that I had. I could have used a twist tie, but I wanted something a little bit different, a little bit more substantial, I guess. And all I did was tie bows in the tops of those bags, trim off the tails and the tops of the bag. Picked up a couple little buckets, one tin bucket, put a little grass fill, I guess basket fill in it, and dropped in the little bags of goodies. And the other one is for someone who is into plants. And so for the other person, what I did was a plant pot, actually filled with candy. And our little bunnies are going to sit in the top of those baskets. Once they were, I had to cut them down actually just a little bit. And once they were cut down, they sat in there at a nice height and they didn't look weird. And then all I did after that was to take some cello wrap them in that, and tied a bow across the top of it, and there you go. 2 little Easter baskets for those people that are just a little bit bigger than the usual Easter Bunny basket recipients. And that brings us to the end of today's video and the end of my project making for this weekend. I had a great time with these ones. They made me a little crazy at times, and every time I made something, I wanted to make something more. I'm one of those people that I just don't know when to stop sometimes, and maybe I could have stopped a while back, but no, I continue to keep going. You'll have to forgive where I've taken the final pictures of these. Yes, that's my messy craft room in the background, with the painting of the kitchen and things being moved around upstairs. It makes it just a little bit harder to get anything else up there and do anything without a major project happening first to tidy things up. So I've just chosen to show you my disaster zone and do the pictures there. I hope you enjoyed today and today's video, and you consider coming back again, and you consider liking, you consider subscribing, sharing. Whatever works for you is fine with me. And as always, thanks for being there, and I will see you next time.